that the ongoing patronage scandal rocking the Ford government is undermining people's trust and confidence in government. It adds to the growing cynicism that people feel towards politics, and it's diverting time and attention away from the big challenges people are facing in their everyday lives. I've been shocked and disappointed to hear some of Ford's supporters defend the flawed appointment process by saying this is something that all governments engage in, patronage appointments, but past wrongs don't make it right. The appointment scandal, combined with Ford's reintroduction of cash for access fundraising, raises serious concerns and questions about whether this government is acting in the public interest or on behalf of deep-pocketed insiders and well-connected elites. Government appointments should be based on merit, not who happened to play lacrosse with the Premier's chief of staff. It is in the interests of all parties and all MPPs to restore confidence and trust in government. And it's clear that the current appointments process is deeply flawed, and we need to fix it now. This begins by learning from past mistakes so that we can fix the appointment process so that this government and future governments don't use the public purse to create cushy jobs for family, friends, supporters, and donors. So over the past month, and I want to give a great shout out to my staff and the many people they consulted, over the past month, our office has developed a set of proposed reforms based on best practices in other jurisdictions across Canada. Our goal is to provide the government with a roadmap to overhaul the appointment process to make it more transparent, fair, and accountable to the people of Ontario. We believe that the best way for the Premier to put this scandal behind him is to not only undo the mistakes of the past, and I want to be clear, I support the calls by the other two opposition parties to review appointments over the past year, but I also think we need to fix the process for the future. And that's the contribution I believe the Green Party is best positioned to provide. So we are proposing 7 key recommendations, and I'm going to try to go through these as fast as I can in the interest of time. First, fix the appointment process to include merit-based criteria. An appointments process, including merit-based principles, is part of the federal government's appointment process updated in 2016. It's also an explicit part of the process in British Columbia, Alberta, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland and Labrador. But in Ontario, there is no mention of a merit-based process in the legislation and regulations governing the appointment process, except for the instance of adjudicative tribunals. As we've seen both the problems over the past month, this needs to change. Second, standardized transparency measures. While the Auditor General has acknowledged improvements in transparency since she flagged this as an issue in her 2016 report, it is clear from the past year that more needs to be done. All advertised positions should be publicly posted with selection criteria and qualifications, and the search process for completed appointment should be easier for the public, media, and MPPs to use. I'm sure you can all agree with that, trying to search through the current process. 3, make results of any Integrity Commissioner investigations public. Currently, the Integrity Commissioner can investigate complaints regarding ministerial staff, but can't make the investigation results public. For example, MPP Fraser asked the Integrity Commissioner to investigate public appointments, and of course the Integrity Commissioner said that he may be able to investigate the Premier's Chief of Staff, but if he did, the results would be not released publicly. Likewise, the Public Services Act should be updated to provide the Commissioner with the authority to be transparent about the results of political staff investigations. 4, add a public complaints and investigation process. As well as the Integrity Commissioner, the Standing Committee on Government Agencies can also review appointments that are made by an order in council. But they only have 14 days to decide whether or not to review a candidate. According to the 2016 Auditor General's report, from 2011 to 2015, the committee reviewed 125 of the 2014 Order in Council candidates, or about 6%. Clearly, the Standing Committee on Government Agencies does not have the authority or the capacity or the time to adequately review appointments. A public complaints process would provide more accountability. 5. Strive for gender and diversity parity. The Auditor General raised this as an issue in 2016, and in 2018 reported that the Public Appointment Secretariat was on track to be publicly reporting results by the winter of 2019, so this fall. It is unclear if the Ford government is committed to the 40% gender target of the previous government, or if any update has been issued. The government should make a clear commitment to diversity and ensure that we are on track to publicly report results. Number 6, strengthen the appointments process for special advisors and short-term advisory boards. The process for these appointments is even less rigorous than the process for agency and board appointments. There is no reason that these appointments shouldn't align with the same principles of transparent, merit, and diversity. And let's bring some transparency into the process by making the business cases that are currently provided to the Treasury Board or the Management Board of Cabinet public. If the appointment is solid, there should be no issue with shining light on the reasoning behind the need for the appointment in the first place. Our 7th and final is establish a committee to reform the appointment process. Our recommendations provide a roadmap for reform based on best practices in other jurisdictions across Canada. We believe an all-party select committee or the Standing Committee on Government Agencies should be instructed to further study this issue, to recommend legislation to reform the appointments process, and to investigate further improvements. I believe all-party input is needed to provide enduring support for any reforms. So in conclusion, the appointment scandal facing the Ford government is a serious issue, and it requires a serious response. When the previous government faced a fundraising scandal that undermined trust and confidence in government, they did the right thing by overhauling Ontario's fundraising rules. It's time for the Ford government to do the same. Elected office should be about service. Service that puts people first, not about finding cushy jobs for your friends and donors. Premier Ford has an opportunity to do the right thing, to show that his For the People slogan is not a meaningless slogan. I offer our recommendations to the Premier